Wow. 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 We are live. We are live. And we are at the first time at the sanctuary. Something is going on here. There we are. Wow, that's perfect. My phone is not able to run this energy. So that's funny that I had to test that out. That's kind of symbolic that we're moving it from Instagram over to Patreon to the sanctuary. It has been a long time coming, and it's kind of fun to see how that works. But literally, my phone has shut down. It's like the energy is too much, so that's kind of symbolic that we are opening up. The energy to this last couple of days has been kind of a whole new a new thing, and it's what I call it, a new dawn. America is going through a big shift. A big shift. Can people hear me, or my phone seems to be... I have to shut this one off and shut it on again just for the fun of it. Yeah, so the world, we have kind of elected a leader, new leader of the world, so to speak. And that is kind of a big reestablishing, because everything kind of comes from spirit. So we were kind of guided. We've been going through these shifts lately for at least kind of maybe 16 years, but at least since like 2016, 2020, like all the different kind of, when there's like a shift in energy, all these different power dynamics in the world kind of comes up, because that's kind of what freedom is. That is what we're kind of looking for, how to kind of understand freedom. So then we kind of have to understand it. But to understand it, we have to kind of understand that we kind of are more like kind of spoiled little brats, kind of like teenagers or like 8-year-olds that kind of are investigating what freedom is, because freedom is what we are kind of looking for inside. We're looking for this freedom to kind of find freedom with our body, with our gender, with our life, with our ego, because our being, our divine being, is free. And for the divine being to come in, we kind of have to understand that freedom, we have to connect and allow and surrender to freedom, to kind of allow that energy to come in, that presence to come in to our body. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with freedom. So then you see that it is natural that the world is also dealing with freedom. the freedom to stand tall, stand by yourself, but also the freedom to kind of honor life, to honor your body, to honor life, the creation of life, the sanctity of marriage, the sanctity of humanity, the sanctity of spirit, the sanctity of coming together, the sanctity of living, the sanctity of enjoying. What does freedom look like when we are in a body? How can we kind of live freely in the body? And as we do kind of start open up to more freedom, the more energy kind of comes in. And that's kind of what's going on in the world now. We kind of think that it's like disasters or different stuff going on, but it all is because we're starting to become more kind of connected to the earth. We're starting to be connected to each other, internet, everything. We can connect just like this. We can connect more easy, more free. That's what the sanctuary is also is there to kind of, you can literally connect and partake, become a member, and come in and watch whenever you want to, and connect from wherever. That is where the online is a beautiful kind of supplement, because sometimes you kind of connect in the group, like we have groups in Norway and other places potential in the future, but also then sometimes you're just by yourself in your own solitude. So we need that both masculine and feminine, and that's kind of what we are looking to have. The feminine is like we can become too connected to everybody. We're looking out all the time. It's like the Carolina, she could be so connected. She would just look at it all the time, and then everything we do she wants. That's a little bit how we are. Everything the world tells us we want. Oh, somebody travels all the time. Somebody lives in a camper, or like somebody has this. We want everything, and then we're like, so then there's an excitement to wanting, but wanting can also be a desire, and then if that desire holds energy, then it can be touched. Then when it happens, it feels great, but we can literally lose ourselves. We lose track of time. We forget to communicate. It's like being on a party with your friends, and then suddenly you forgot to let your husband or your family or your kids like know where you are, or like reach out for 3 days because you've just been having such a good time. That's kind of how desire can kind of make you kind of space out. You can like, you literally can pull that energy, and it can literally just make you just fall in love so much that you forget yourself. But when you just forget yourself as an emotion, then you're just like just separate from reality and the calmness. So that's why sometimes people get like exhausted when they're wasted, when they're drinking, because they're jumping into emotions instead of also staying connected to the simplicity of the ease behind. So that's kind of where we are looking to kind of find that freedom, that ease, that being behind. So then the one can also be connected to anger, because you could suddenly, in the moment, you go, oh, I've been held down for so long. America has held me down. Men are held me down. Whites have held me down. Whoever, like my friends have held me down. My family has held me down. So then we become like aggressive, and then we become like an activist. We have to fix everything. We have to burn everything down. Burn everything down. There we are. Burn everything down. So that sounds very easy to think when you're like 16 or 21, So that's funny that we have like people can vote when they're 18, because if you just feel like you're in school and you are feeling just that everybody holds you down or holding you down, then you want to be an activist. Oh, it sounds so, but it's just because you go into this war. So that's where a lot of people are. They get sucked into these wars. I heard a lady that kind of talked about, like, she got into feminism for like 20 years when she was like in high school or in college here in America. And in that, she just listened to certain things, and she was like, so like 20 years later, she realized she's been just in this war. Suddenly she woke up and like, oh wow, I've been just fighting. So activism can sound, but it's almost like you were like, whoa, I forgot to live. I forgot to kind of nourish myself, create a family, create love, create a beingness, take care of myself. Or you can be like just sucked into the want is just love, and then you just like, you go and just choose all the wrong husband or wrong friends or everything just to be loved. Or you do stuff online or whatnot just to get love, to get validation. But then you realize, oh, was I really like, was that really me? So sometimes you can go into these emotions and kind of lose yourself. So that's where the ego is brilliant. It's like, we really can get lost and forget ourselves. But then, yeah, this is kind of the potential to also kind of have maturity. We have to step and become an adult. We have to step into the balance of the maturity of life. We have to realize that the ego, these emotions they're kind of just burning the body. Then that can keep constantly getting us sick or tired, or we have intestinal problems. So we have diarrhea, or we have like eczema, or like different rashes, or different stuff that, or we get cancer, or different stuff that constantly are like, or we have get like, you know, what do we get? God, talk. Autoimmune diseases and different stuff like inflammatory. So it's just because you get so sucked into these things that you forget to relax, and that what is the path back into being that we can go through, kind of the Buddha being, the Christ being, and into the divine being, and start to realize that we kind of have to find a center and a peacefulness, and then we can find an upliftedness and receptiveness to spirit, and then behind that we can find that divine being where we kind of are free. So freedom is kind of something we have been looking for, and society is kind of gradually leading us towards it. So it's kind of beautiful to see how the energy of the earth and society and everything is just literally coming in. And I've been working on this sanctuary page for maybe a few years, and I started to see that it's nice to have a community, and it's like my books. When people pay for it, because my wife's like, let's give all these books away. America, everybody just likes everything free. But then when you haven't really engaged with something by like putting in intention and money, then you don't really connect with the energy of it. So the other part of it is to pay for it. So then when I had somebody buy my book, they felt the energy, and they actually got an energy adjustment from it, and it shifted their awareness, their being. And that's the same thing with, I put this out on YouTube, but people really are connecting with it don't really connect with it because it just becomes words. They're not able to get into the energy. So that is where we are kind of seeing that whatever we're kind of creating, there's like, it's a connection. We have all these connections already with a family, a friend. So then we have to kind of clear up these connections and allow them to kind of create balance where we can kind of become more easeful and at peace and free. So that's where, like, when you kind of come into this space and you put money, then it becomes a book that you just can kind of enjoy yourself, whether it's the lives or the videos in your own flow, your own time. Everybody's different. Some likes to be just live. Other people like to just, I watch it when I have time. I don't have time at those times. But yeah, it's funny that today it kind of came out and we have a new president today, and this is the first day. And the flower that I've been talking about, the new flower on our plant that hasn't really been out there before. We never seen it. We've had that plant for maybe 10 years. But it has these kind of small kind of dicks coming out. Kind of looks kind of funny. But the sixth one, the last one, came out today. The 6th of November, the last little thingy. So I haven't really heard if anyone is hearing me or not, but yeah, so that is kind of felt like the new dawn. It was just the energy yesterday. The last couple of days, it's just been raining, kind of like a releasing, and it's just been like such openness of energy. And then today it just stopped, and now it's just clearing up, and it's becoming kind of peaceful, and the world feels kind of happy or like excited in a different way, or curious. We don't have to be happy or sad. It's the curiousness, the curiosity to be. We've kind of had the masculine coming in here. Last time Trump came in, then that was a little bit of the old kind of like a little childish, where he got lost in anger. You saw, like, after he lost the election, he got lost in anger, and he wanted to just get even. He just wanted to send his people to attack the building. So then he needed to get a reprimand, but that was kind of a release, and then he was just gone, taken off the building. And then we continued into the feminine, which is more with Biden, where there's like no one really there. The darkness there, where everybody's just kind of doing stuff behind the scenes. And then with Kamala, where it just became kind of like not really having anything, but just kind of faking it. So, that's where like the masculine can come in kind of aggressive and dominant, and with force, well, the woman can come in more like with non-force, which is like that hidden, sneaky, where people kind of just like more with deception. So we're kind of cleaning out both the dark masculine and the dark feminine, which both needs to kind of come into balance before we can kind of come in to more the divine masculine and feminine, which we are kind of in now, where we can start to see that the masculine is more the mind, the feminine is more the body. We need the leader and we need the crew. So now we see there is not just one person. Now there's a president, but there's also all these people around that want to nurture the space and want to coexist in the space. And that's the same thing we do here. There's a leader, but there's also the community. Like, everybody has to kind of be part of the boat, the ship. So that's kind of exciting that there's a more, sometimes you need to get some slaps to kind of wake up and be like, oh, maybe we have to, and the divine needs to be applied with wisdom, kind of thing. And that's kind of sometimes what takes time, because it's easy to just force or deceive or get stuff using these different kind of energies that we have in our body, whether it's a masculine or feminine energy. But then to use the wisdom, which is kind of more of a gracefulness that kind of is, that sometimes growing up, kind of you stop realizing stop just wanting every like results right there and then, but having the faith to just kind of take it a little easy and realize that maybe listening to somebody who's done the journey before and this, and then trust, having faith in it, and see that there's many deceptions out there, and there's many people that try to kind of put force on you, force you to do stuff. That is where like the whole world is full of misinformation, like people say, or try to force you to do their things. Or well, we kind of have to lift our head and start to realize that there's, we also need truth, we also need that clarity, that something in us are starting to be wanting, because there's a different energy when information comes through it. It kind of has this nurturing energy that keeps lifting us and keeps like caressing us and brings dreams. I had this dream yesterday of, there was like two moons. We were looking outside and there was like two moons, one full moon and one half moon. So it was like America was like split in two moons. But then suddenly in the next moment they came together. And that was like yesterday. It was like a new coming together of the country. But that doesn't mean that it feels good, because our egos are still like, wait, what is this? And why should I be this? And I don't know if this is. So that's where the faith and the that's like coming here, like, wait, I felt good and now I'm feeling weird, or what's going on here? Yeah, there's stuff going on. There's a balancing and integration and uplifting of different kind of energies, and that's just like the world. So the world is, and the world and humanity is kind of very intertwined now. So it's like a very interesting time, very connected time. So yes. With that being said, let's take it into the second part. Lay back or close your eyes or keep them open, depending on what feels natural. There's a naturalness to sleeping or relaxing that everybody's a little has different connections to. And just drop your shoulders a little bit more and your hips. Yeah, so there's like the space, the energy is different in the space. And that's kind of the beingness. It's just a bubble. We're kind of in this energy bubble, but we just have to open to it. Yeah, and then stretch out your legs a little bit more, down out into toes. Stretch out your toes, your fingers and your toes, and they might like feel a little burning or tingling, or a little coldness or heat. Or you might just suddenly start to hear some sounds in the space, uh, or some colors in the space for that matter, as like you'll start open. And then, yeah, let that energy go down between your legs, down into your toes and into your feet. Yes, and let it energy come up again. It comes up through the feet, up into your groin, up into belly, up into your chest, kind of cracks open. That stiffness up, that tightness, that closeness of your heart. Yeah, and drop your hips a little bit more, shake them loose a little bit more, and your shoulders. The energy starts coming up, 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 up and away. And then it goes out and up. Beautiful, beautiful. It's good to see everybody. We're done for today. If you've seen this other places, then you are welcome to join the sanctuary at Patreon and tap into the lives and the stardust, and the videos are there. And everybody else, I will see you guys soon or next Wednesday or whenever, guys, we text. And as always, it's been a pleasure. See ya.